On Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, the next election will take place for the next president of the United States. However, it will be voted in through the electoral college way of voting, as everyone has been before. However, it is abundantly clear that it is severely outdated and is in need for change. As a person who has researched the electoral college system, I am credible to tell you over the negatives that it brings to the table. And although it's been used for years, it is severely outdated and unfair to many Americans. I will start out by telling you how it became outdated and why it was made for the way it was and why it's outdated now. Secondly, I'll tell you why it is affecting Americans. And lastly, I'll tell you a solution to replace and or fix the electoral college. Like I said before, it is problematic and unfair to many voters across the United States, and for the past years, it's often been criticized for being unconstitutional, and this could be pointed back to its original purpose. According to Rose D's article on history.com, there were many reasons why the Founding Fathers went with the Electoral College, but the biggest reason is that they couldn't agree on anything. And there were many reasons why the Founding Fathers couldn't agree on anything. They thought maybe Congress would become corrupt and they couldn't trust Congress down the road to select the next president. They couldn't trust people because many people back then were uneducated. They could have not been informed on the candidates. They could have steered the country away for their own benefits, and a populace with dangerous amounts of power could have got voted in. So while it is clear for issues, you may be wondering what they are. Well, there's a severe issue of unfairness for many voters across the United States. Most votes that you get through electoral college is through the population of your state. So if you were to live in a less populated state, your state is now worth less votes, so your vote is now worth less vote. Another issue is red and blue states. If you live in a red and blue state and you were to vote the opposite color of your state is now useless because, well, majority takes all. Whoever wins that state wins all of the electoral college votes. And swing states also get more attention from candidates. So rather than candidates having to convince most of the United States, they'll convince a state like Florida because they already know that California is going to be a blue state, and they already know that Missouri is going to be a red state. This can cause many people not to want to vote in the next election as they find that their vote is useless. To expand upon when red or blue states take place, there's also gerrymandering. And gerrymandering is changing or expanding your counting lines to keep your state that color. And according to Winburn J. in his 2008 book, Realities of Redistricting, it presents one huge basic fear, that representatives choose the people rather than the people choosing the representatives. There's many negatives that it brings to the table. So you may be wondering next, if we were to get rid of it, we'd have to replace it. What would we replace it with? Well, according to the Constitutional Research Services, in 2009, a direct election would abolish it, and it would force candidates to win off of popular vote. This would be much better. For starters, a candidate could never lose whenever they have the popular vote. Your vote would still be worth the same as somebody next to you, so it wouldn't matter what the population of your state was. And also, if your state was a certain color, your vote would not be useless because it would count towards a majority. In conclusion, although used for years, it's abundantly clear that it's outdated and inefficient and unfair, and it should be replaced. So, to sum up, it's problematic and unfair across the U.S., and the alternative is a direct election. So, maybe you're old enough to vote, maybe not, but think to yourself, is my vote equal to another person in a different state? If not, maybe you should argue for the direct way of voting.